Hi, dyma fi. This is me. Welcome to Oopla Bobby Hook Do Baby. JP, I'll tell you what I thought. I didn't hear the song, so I can't comment. Diolch, JP.
You never know what we're doing then. Well, right now
I'll never be as good as JP, but here we are. We're playing Stone Away from the best album of 2013. We'll just put any song on, yeah, and see where we go. Diolch yn fawr. Here we go. So, Oopla Bobby Hook Do Baby, I chi. Here we go. Lle mae'r speakers? Right. Oh, is it on? No, it's not on. Hang on. Can you film me over there? There we are. Good, good. Right, first one now. There we are. Go there. Yes. Mae'n oer. It's cold. Mae'n oer. Is the microphone working? Is the microphone working?
But now I'm back here before you can see me shaking. 'Cause in that moment I just knew.
Boys, bah, what has that done to me? And we didn't even hear half of it. Well, the start of it. Toro and off now. Right, that's Stone Away from the album. Is it going back? Nah. Right, Stone Away's album is called, the second album is called Tales from Terra Firma. And that song is called, what's it called? A Belated Invite to Eternity. And I haven't heard it in about a year. And it's just phenomenal. And it's so good. I'm going to look up, I never do this. I'm going to look up the lyrics on the web, if I can get my head round how to do it. Stone Away, STORNOWAY, a belated invite to eternity. When I bought this album from Spillers in 2003, I couldn't actually believe the titles on the back of the album cover. I'll have to get the Farewell Show album. It sounds great. But, yeah. Oh, here we go. Full lyrics. There's something about this album, it just makes you cry all the time. Every time I heard it, and we went to see him live, my wife and I, and she couldn't help me because I was flawed by circumstances in my life. It was late last night and all the band was sleeping. It was late last night. I was listening to the generators humming, to the tent zipping, drunk quipping, guy rope tripping, and in the gathering dew I was lucid as a floodlight. I was thinking of you, but now I'm back here before you. You can see me shaking, because in that moment I knew. I just knew. 40 seasons have flown since I first sat down beside you in a crowd of our own. Oh, in a crowd on our own. 40 seasons. So there's 4 seasons in a year. So he's 10. No, he's probably 20. Since I first sat down beside you in a crowd on our own, and how one person could thrill me, occupy me and fulfill me. I could never have known how in the first of our autumns we'd be falling so steeply. We could share so completely. How in the third of our summers, when you first tried to leave me, you could cut me so deeply. China crisis. You did cut me. What a marvellous, marvellous. I could never have known, and on my wilderness journeys, with your compass still in me, all the shelters were empty. Through the longest of winters, when I called you downriver, but you gave me no answer, and I feared for my mind. Until the first signs of springtime. You were sick and I saw you, and how much you'd missed me. Now in the 11th autumn you are blonde from the summer, and I'm back here before you, and you see me shaking. Will you go with me, my love? From here together, from this quiet rented house. Will you go with me, my love, to face together every rise and every slow decline. Will you go with me through dream and fantasy, through the open fields and tangled valleys? Will you go with me through grief and ecstasy? Is that line there? Through grief and ecstasy, and every shade between, the cold morning stars and the deep blue sea. I'm reading that and I can't stop crying because it's just so, that's so part, this album is a part of me. I didn't like the last album, well, I didn't bought it, but I bought Bronxy, whatever it's called, Bonksy. That's good, but this album is just, because every track, they've named every track. You Take Me As I Am, Farewell Appalachia, The Bigger Picture, and now I wrote a song called A Darlin Mawr. Meddwl am a Darlin Mawr. Before this one, and yet this song was called A Bigger Picture. The Bigger Picture. A belated invite to eternity. Well, that just speaks for itself, doesn't it? Hook, line and sinker. Knock me on the head. The Great Procrastinator. Now that was one which got to me because I'm a procrastinator. The ones we hurt the most. And that's why my missus can't help me. And it's I'll read those lyrics for you. I'm going to play that one for you. And November Song, which just reminds me of my mother. So that album and that song, it's a very progressive song. It reminds me of James. I don't like James a lot, but it just reminds me of James. And I love this album, but I can't listen to it very often. That's why it's apt. Mae'n addas bo fi'n hairbrand ar y gan and I gyd. You'd have finished me off. But what an absolutely gorgeous album it is. And it's not perfect at all, but it's just a part of me. So if you ever want to know what I'm like, listen to that album. Mae mor hwyr yma. It's so cold, but I'm very comfortable in my study, in our study. I've written 4 songs tonight and I've recorded them. And I thought, right, we got to listen to some music as opposed to me ranting on to a drum machine and a guitar. But that song, Stornoway, if you're watching that song, it's just so beautiful. But it's all beautiful. The whole album is beautiful. And it coincided with a very, very rough 2 years. My parents had died, and I couldn't cope with just really hard byddi rhagluniaeth yn Saesneg. Byddi rhagluniaeth yn Saesneg. I can't remember. Look it up. Begins with P. This is my mind gone to mush because I've listened to that album. I can't listen to that album anymore. It's just too loaded with rhagluniaethau anodd. Rhagluniaethau, providences. Hard, difficult providences. And thank goodness I had them. Because I read the Bible and listened to preachers all the time. I still read the Bible. I still listen to the Bible. You're listening to wpla24.43. But I think it's important. I haven't read this book. I want to read this book, but I never get around to it. What if I started reading this book on Hoopla now? I don't know. I've just seen a word there, and it stops me from reading it. I see the word cosmos, and it just stops me from reading it. What then of the Spirit? This is why I stopped reading it now. Page 242. It's by Sinclair B. Ferguson. What then of the Spirit? If he is the Creator Spirit, can we also speak of him as the Cosmic Spirit? So that God's purposes for the world as such, not merely for individuals or indeed for the Church, will be brought to consummation through his ministry. But this is Mahunanaro the Cowl. This is significant that I've chosen this page. Let's just read this paragraph and I'll leave it there in the air, okay? But it's as significant as that Stolen Away lyric or album. This could be another providential reading. This has become a commonplace emphasis in modern theology, often expressed in a very distinctive post-Enlightenment fashion. The major epistemological impact of the Enlightenment on theology lay in the rejection of the transcendent as knowable. It was not disclosed through the immanent. This shift manifested itself in many different ways. In terms of the doctrine of the Holy Spirit, it emerged in a loss of confidence in the Orthodox Trinitarian formula, in which the Spirit was seen as the third person of a God who can be known, and as one who serves as the executive of the Father and the Son. Spirit came to be thought of in immanent but non-personal terms. A kind of Unitarian immanence theology was the result. The Spirit of God identifying himself as with the world. The panentheism characteristic of later process theology is one expression of this. In God as Spirit we live and move and have our being. He is not far from any of us. His experience and ours are inextricably linked and mutually interdependent. Well, I do want to read this book now. The only way I can read this book is by reading it on Hoopla Bobby Hockdo Baby. Hello? Can you hear the guitar strings? Listen to those guitar strings. There's a guitar over there. Can you see the guitar? Let's have a look if we're still recording. Are we still recording? Are we? Or have I pressed the wrong button again? I'm still here. So there's a guitar over there. See that guitar there? That's humming. Let's have a look now. And hello. Yep, it's humming. Are they over here? They're over here as well. Look at this. Those guitars there, they're not humming because they're not up in the air. So let's have a look where we are now then. One of the subscribers and possibly the biggest Bob's fan ever, David Wynn, says he can read the books on my shelf and he sees different shelves every now and again. Okay, so I'm gonna read this. O stopiwch, newch chi, stopiwch, mae'r tanau neud sŵn. So my sound waves are making those, listen, they're making those guitar strings vibrate. Yo, 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 whoop, whoop. Amazing. Right, so dyna ddiwedd ar Stornoway. Mae'n rhaid fi roi record. Oh no, it's in there. So we got some records down here. We might as well play the records now because I haven't got. I've got the CD plugged in. We could play CDs, but let's play some records. I'll show you this next one now. Oh, this is Micro Disney with the Triffids in a sleeve. You couldn't have chosen two more significant bands. Well, you could have chosen Yes and Genesis, or Judy Zook and The Passions. Oh yes, Level 42 and Geraint Jarman. They always go together. Do you know why? Geraint Jarman, top rank. Level 42, top rank. 1983. So, gadewch ni glywed. Okay. Loft Holdingswood, he mocks Jesus in this, I think. But we won't listen to lot. He mocked religion all the time, did Cathal Cochran. But let's not hold that against him because he was a lovely guy and he died 2 years ago, and I saw the documentary recently. He was on wpla Bobby Hockdo. We gave him an interview. I went down to see the Fatima Mansions. It reminds me of Dave Datblygu here. Right, that's at the end of Loft Holdingswood. So the next song is Horse Overboard. Let's listen to Horse Overboard. John Peel session.
Each night a kiss to her face.
Dyna Micro Disney o'r album Peel Sessions and a smoother, less abrasive version of Horse Over Broad, which comes from the album 1985 album The Clock Comes Down the Stairs. I didn't go to see them in London or Dublin. But I watched the programme on BBC 4 recently, well, on iPlayer, and I cried because Cathal Coughlan had become ill, and on the programme he looked ill and old, and he died about 2 years ago. And I remember seeing them in 1991. I can tell you when exactly. At the end of January. Yes. Yes. Okay. Rydych chi'n gwrando ar wpla Bobby Hook 2 baby. Pwy sy ar y ffôn yn fyw ar y rhaglen? Hello, pwy sy'n galw wpla Bobby Hook 2 baby? Wel, dwi yn ffilmio, ond beth ti eisiau deud? Oh, cario fi, paid y mynd. Chi'n gwybod be wedodd hi? Dwi ddim yn dweud dim byd os wyt ti'n ffilmio. What no funny. Right. So very good song, and we'll move on because we've got a few records to play. We've got a few records to play before Mrs. P gets home. That was my wife, and she refuses to talk when the radio show is on. Okay, there we are then. So I'm just looking at the album. I'm not looking at the albums, I'm pulling them out. That's that Fatima man. Well, we got to play this. I brought this out. This is the album I bought in that gig, funnily enough. I think we should have, well, we'll see what we have, yeah? I'll keep it on the 7-inch single album, if you see what I mean, that the needle goes on to as if it's a single, but it's the album really, so. Is that the end of the album? That is the end of the album. So we've just heard the last 10. Oh, here we go. No, we're all right. This is You Won't Get Me Home. My favourite Fatima Mansion song. Oh. Dear. What's going on there now? It shows you I haven't heard it in a long time. I've been playing it at the wrong speed. Let's put it on again, because it's a great song. And I didn't realise that the previous song was slow. Wilderness on Time. So down we go. That's how it's meant to sound. And there's the album, and this is the track.
Boy Scout songs, oh,
So there we are. That's the Fatima Mansion singing You Won't Get Me Home. Here are the lyrics. I'm doing this for the second time properly in my life. Ydy hwn yn mynd I fynd nôl nawr? Neu na? Thank you. Relax. Her uncle won't support her now. He loves his masons more. That's the two lines that kind of sum up why I like Fatima Mansions and Micro Disney, with their Boy Scout songs of Jabulon as they flock to gore some whores. She says, you won't get me home, you won't get me home, everything I own is gone. They built a wall around the town to keep her plague within until all of the unclean had died, atoning for their sins. You won't get me home, you won't get me home, leave my mouth alone, you're old, you're old. You won't get me home to jump my tired bones. Now leave my mouth alone and go, go, go. The Prince of Caledonia, he drives a diesel van. Yeah, he peddles skag in Hamilton. He's the reality man. Reality man. You're not your own executioner, no. Even though they tell you so. Dwi'n mynd I alle, ond mae'n swnio'n wych. So dyna ni. Good. That's a great song to hear again, even though it's not as good as it was when I was younger, for reasons of spiritual dissonance probably, and deyrnadaeth, the word deyrnadaeth, of course, means what we perceive, our perceptions. And here's Ragor. And there's Horse Overboard again, the original. So it's quite apt that we're playing the Peel sessions because it's completely different sound. Oh, should I play? I think we should play. She only gave in to her anger, because it's a B-side and it deserves to be heard. This is the B-side of Singer's Hampstead Home on the 12-inch. Let's have a look where it lands, shall we? I'll just press play, and if it lands at the beginning of the song, it was meant to be. To her anger. You didn't hear it, you just heard the last minute, so shall we play it? Judging by the last minute, no, but it starts off really well. Let's go on to hear it again, yeah? This is... Right, here we go. That's the end of Brother Olaf, which sounds like a Genesis B-side, or I'll take a take from Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, but this is She Only Gives In. There we are then. Now here. Now that's good, isn't it? So gewch chi glywed y gweddill trwy tro nesaf. Mae Mrs P adres yma i fi fynd. Mwynhewch. Hwyl fawr.